So, you watched Hot Wheels Acceleracers, and now you are left wondering,
Hey, wait a minute, what happened? What happens next?
that's right, this was the end of a 4-movie saga. And if this is you, a first-time watcher, or someone who has been left on the cliffhanger for 20 years, this video is for you. And if you haven't watched it, I'll be linking the watch list and where down below in a document. This video aims to consolidate the decades worth of news in a singular short video through 5 main ideas. What is Acceleracers? Why was Acceleracers cancelled? What was supposed to happen in 2006? What is the Acceleracers community? And finally, what are the new official Mattel Acceleracers products? Buckle up and let me, your host, JayCee², take you through an introduction course into Hot Wheels Acceleracers. What is Acceleracers? Acceleracers is the broad term to refer to the original storyline of the Hot Wheels universe dating back to 1969. As fans, it is simply referred to as Highway 35 or Acceleracers. And it was always meant to be a show that ultimately sold Hot Wheels castings. The storyline includes the following canon products: 1969 Hot Wheels TV show, the 1969 to 1971 DC Comics series of Hot Wheels, 2003's Hot Wheels World Race, and finally, 2005 Hot Wheels Acceleracers. The first original show was simply named Hot Wheels and aired on ABC at the time in 1969, 1 year after Hot Wheels was first released in 1968. Simply put, it features a very Hanna-Barbera-esque cast of characters that drive different Hot Wheels die-cast, when its main character being named Jack the Rabbit Wheeler. And of course, it ties into the car he would drive, the Jack Rabbit Special. Plus, he drives other die-casts as well. But this character of Jack Wheeler would be the very first main character for Hot Wheels. Our next series is of 4 cartoon episodes that would later be enveloped into a 2-hour movie. That being Hot Wheels Highway 35 World Race, which would release in 2003. This series would feature 35 new characters and cars that would celebrate the 35th anniversary of Hot Wheels. It was Hot Wheels' first time in a transmedia storytelling project with video games, online and console, comics, and even a real-life built Diora 2 in tandem with the TV show's release. Burt Wheeler, age 16, would be the next main character, and it would be the grandson of Jack Wheeler. And his story would continue 2 years later in the famous Cartoon Network movie series, Hot Wheels Acceleracers. This movie series would take a more mature tone than World Race, and is probably why it remains the most popular and rememberable of the 3. I will add this footnote, however. Jeff Gomez, the creator of World Race, summarized in his second podcast episode that Tesla was also very much a main character, an idea that would connect everything together. So although yes, Burt Wheeler is the protag that we connect with the most, Tesla very much is the driving force of the series even taking place. And that is the basics. No other official lore, books, TV show, video games, etc. released after Acceleracers in 2005 that directly connects. But I know why many probably clicked on this video. To have that question that has been burning since you watched the cliffhanger from 20 years ago. Or for those that are new, maybe yesterday. Why was Acceleracers cancelled? In 2004, Hot Wheels Acceleracers cars started being sold to retailers in the tail end of Q4 for Christmas time in December. This would only be the first wave, with subsequent waves being released later on. And there would be multiple lines of products: the larger HyperPods with either motorized functions or mechanical functions, a card game release with a starter kit, booster packs, and of course, the cars, which would come with the booster packs into the trading card game. The later waves of cars, including Wave 2 of Acceleracers, with different liveries and stickers instead of the card game booster packs, would be harder to find as retailers simply did not buy boxes to stock the already mostly filled shelves. And here you will find the problem. Mattel's customers are big retailers such as, at the time, Walmart, Kmart, Target, Toys R Us, and more. These retailers, however, did not sell some of the original waves of sets because the movies would be released on a different schedule. The movies, unlike a TV show, which was split into 2 halves typically, was commissioned as a season of television, and it was split into those 4 movies. Ignition would be released in Q1 of 2005. And if you remember, the sets started releasing in Q4 of 2004. Speed of Silence would be released in Q2, and you can start seeing the pattern here. Breaking Point in Q3, Ultimate Race in Q4. The quarter releases are important here, because that is how success is measured in these big companies like Mattel and their customers like Walmart and Kmart. I'll show you an example of how a possible release would have aligned using the Speed of Silence DVD release. You see, there are points of advertising campaigns, product releases, and more that would help a customer, like Blockbuster and Walmart, to buy Speed of Silence copies. And recall the information about how many different products there were too. Mattel needed to time the release of the retail product boxes just right in order to maximize gain with this story release. However, it did not work as intended, and even though Hot Wheels would go to San Diego Comic-Con in 2005, mind you, for the first time ever, specifically to promote this series around Q3, marketing teams deemed it to be a failure based upon those quarterly earnings for 2006. And I don't mean to overcomplicate things, I'm only trying to state the facts of corporate thinking. If it is still to market, here's the gist. It was not because it was too popular and going to be better than Hot Wheels ever was, or that Sony had curse words in its music license, or any other crazy rumor that's been spread throughout the years in this community. Although there is probably much nuance, mind you, ultimately, Acceleracers was canceled according to Mattel due to poor initial earnings reports towards its projected graph. And with a change in marketing teams, they decided to can it altogether. And the key word is projected. This is also a mistake that LEGO made with the LEGO universe. If you're familiar with its story, one that the CEO said in essence was our worst mistake in the company history. And in my humble experience, I watched World Race in 2004 and Acceleracers at the end of 2005 and 2006, mostly because I did not have cable. I had Blockbuster, so I know all too well how confused I was when looking for the toys and I couldn't find them on the shelves or anywhere as a kid. I only forget Jackhammer with the Water Realm, the cars that came with the DVDs, and Rollin' Thunder. Everything else I collected was a re-release. The release schedules for the vehicles was ultimately poorly timed with the cartoon's release. But that leads into our next question, because if they went to San Diego Comic-Con, what did they show that got canned? What was supposed to happen in 2006? Many know at this point that Mattel had their own in-house team to write the 5th script of Hot Wheels Acceleracers. However, many forget that if this was greenlit, we would have gotten a whole new season, that being 4 more movies and not just the 5th. Ian Richter was the main source of why Acceleracers happened when he became one of the people in charge at Mattel in regards to media. He had also worked on World Race prior to this Ambition project. I mention this because it would be his team that localized at Mattel that had a lot of the main story, which would not be the case later on when Cartoon Network wanted to pick up another Hot Wheels TV show. So what do we know about Movie 5 and the subsequently canceled toy line? Well, going back to 2005 San Diego Comic-Con, figures of many of the Acceleracers characters were planned, along with accessories and even more playsets, in big and small form. Most notably is the inclusion of a new Unmasked Silencers character, which would later be confirmed by Jeff Gomez, who was there in person. This character would be Banji Castillo, who is known to have crashed in the Swamp Realm. But that wasn't the only story-based content we would find from this canceled line of toys. On April 29th in 2022, Jungle Penguins, one of the researchers of Tesla's Cube, would discover a Walmart catalog for Boys 2006. This would confirm even more about the ideas that Hot Wheels were going to explore with the series, including transforming cars and new hyperpod designs, all in line with like sports themes. These lost toys are fully divulged in my video, The Lost Toys, which you can find there. These transforming cars, especially the one Mark Wilde would ride, would look eerily similar to toys that would later be introduced into the Battle Force 5 lineup. Later on, Andrew Duncan on Twitter and on the Squared Corner podcast, we're gonna getting it out still, would confirm more details about the canceled show, how it would have followed the crew trying to find Vert Wheeler, and the vehicles that transformed would be related to the character's sport characteristics, that Mama Chop was going to be introduced at some point and maybe be the new headquarters location. Karma was hinted at being a Galora model, not totally confirmed, and the final circle at the end would have been a morpher type of ring, morphing realms to be like ice and lava as a wild example. These, however, are only hearsay, as this information is held tightly by Mattel. and some of it could be inaccurate if we ever did see that 5th script. And that's basically it. There's more nuance and little things, of course, but the main ideas, that's it. There would have been 4 more movies, and we would have had more adventure and action, with Kadeem probably leading the drones for a portion of it and later getting a redemption arc. And while some of the ideas would translate to future projects, Acceleracers and the timeline would be left frozen on ice for the time being. Or would it? Stay with me now, because we are about to find out how Acceleracers keep you alive. The past is the past. This is our future now. Let's dive into the unexplored territory of fandom. What is the Acceleracers community? Man, where do I even begin? This is one of the coolest communities I've ever been a part of, and it has seriously grown in the recent years at an exponential rate, as many are finding the series and remembering 20 years later. And those that haven't even been waiting that long have been loving it after their first watch. I think I have to start at the beginning of the community's efforts in documenting everything at the time. That being the Excelopedia page. Although it is shut down now, at the time it was seriously the best place for fans to discover different official art, behind the scenes answers to questions about diecasts, and more. This effort would begin sparking many different YouTube channels as well. Tesla's Cube would be a place of documenting footage, products, and the stories from the Acceleracers era and beyond. NilloAF would begin a wave of YouTubers and video essayists with his small but very powerful videos and theories and explanations. His most popular might be the Taro, "I'm gonna pass you" effect. Vulcanvugan and many more, genuinely so many, would begin a new wave of 3D modelers that would throw passion into making their favorite Hot Wheels cars. Tom Wheeler would actually have the first successful Script 5 project, The Finish Line, which would later be illustrated by Alseg, the GOAT, who was introduced into the community by a video essayist from Chinimisk. And we can't forget about customizers and collectors like Super Robo, Acceleracers Hub, Metrometrics, Tyler Toborg, Acceleracers Customs, and so many more. Enigmatic Will and the Speedrunners crew would actively mod the original World Race game and then subsequently remaster the Acceleracers trading card game on Tabletop Sim. Omegapus would create tournaments and mods for a game called Distance that would spark multiple fan game projects all the way from ground up using engines like Unity and Unreal to using Roblox, Need for Speed, and many more modded games. Cobalt Sanderson would create a tournament for the official Hot Wheels Unleashed community, which became huge in garnering long-term support for the game, as well as a core fan base that would mod the game into a game. Den Miresan would have been one of those originally from that community, who now has started his own channel with a drones-inspired VTuber model. Then of course there's me, who just dresses up like Vert Wheeler and goes to events. And truthfully, I don't mean to miss anyone, because this community is not just American, but it's worldwide. Brazil, Mexico, Japan, all of Europe, Australia, China, and so many more. And not only fell in love with this series, but would even sometimes have localized dubbed versions of the movies. And while there have been many failures in fan projects, there have also been very many success stories. And I'll end my rant about the community on this. The Fog Realm project really brought together the fandom's canon. This includes the following projects: The Fog Realm, released by Vulcanvugan and his YouTube channel, and all the many that helped make it. Hot Wheels Acceleracers, The Prototype, Episode .1, fan film on Vulcan's channel. Project Territory, a manga series created by TPMVA and the GOAT, Alseg. The Lost Years, a short comic series created by JayCee and Alseg. And there are so many more. Animations, comics, fan fiction, that are all made by fans for fans. But what about Mattel? Did they ever in 20 years pick anything back up? Well, let me try to explain. What has been the official Mattel Acceleracers timeline? In this section of the video, I'm going to split my introduction into years for key moments and have the dates displayed as I go throughout all this information, as well as all the sources down below. It's a lot. In 2006, Acceleracers as a whole officially ended, with the second series of cars being the last available toys. In 2008 and 2009, originally conceptualized under various names that I'm not going to get into, Battle Force 5 shared a lot of the creative staff that Acceleracers would, including directors, designers, and animators. However, Cartoon Network did not want a sequel at the time and wanted a brand new show. And so many designs and names that you may recognize were used in Hot Wheels Battle Force 5. One of the ways that the creators called back to their times on Acceleracers was in episode 20, which would be featuring Porkchop's Old Smoky, and in another season 1 episode. In 2010, Combat Hauler would be the first release with Acceleracers graphics for RD05 and Truck. In 2017, Hot Wheels on Twitter posted a rejection of Acceleracers totally, saying there are no plans available for Hot Wheels Acceleracers. In 2018, or around 2018, there was a legit rumor going around that it was considered by Mattel to release the 5th movie script in honor of their 50th anniversary. This, unfortunately, would get rejected. In 2019, Creative Mobile Games' Hot Wheels Infinite Loop reveals Vert Wheeler's return in a mobile game, along with the first use of the Teku logo since, I believe, 2006. Again in April, a new Hot Wheels mobile game reveals that Torgmatics' Hollowback, along with Pete Karras' version of Twinville, would be included in the game. Hot Wheels Infinite Loop was released to the public in August, which actually kickstarted my YouTube channel. In 2020, in May, Hot Wheels Legends Tour was virtual online, and one of the judges, being Ted Wu, would actually talk about Shirako, one of his favorite Hot Wheels Acceleracers characters. In August of 2020, the Teku Dior2 graces the screen for the first time in 15 years in Hot Wheels Infinite Loop. In 2021, Milestone unveils a new console Hot Wheels game and mentioned wanting to appease fans of Hot Wheels Acceleracers. The chat was pretty wild and very vocal. In June of 2021, the first Acceleracers DLC introduces Synchro and High Voltage. Also, Vulcanvugen's Power Rage model is used as a reference for the in-game model. It was a huge win for the community. In July, San Diego Comic-Con 2021 Hot Wheels panel, Brian Benedict and other employees at Mattel pay homage to Acceleracers and say they want it back. It is also revealed that the Milestone developers put their money where their mouth was. The Acceleracers RD02 is revealed in Hot Wheels Unleashed at the same online panel. In August, the Wave Rippers Dior2 is announced in Hot Wheels Unleashed, and its appearance is the first time back since 2003. In November, in a sad turn of events, Hot Wheels Infinite Loop shuts down, but the developers were not done saying their thank you to the community. Later, they would announce that Reverb is going to be put into the video game with a Teku and Acceleron decal. A last-minute thank you before the game Ultimate shut down in January of 2022. Shout out Creative Mobile Games, literally the realest developers to this day. In 2022, the Twitter Hot Wheels post to Taco Bell, "Bring back Acceleracers," in a mocking but also fun but not serious, not serious, it was a fun tone. In March, Twitter Hot Wheels posts the DLC announcement for Acceleracers, which would get hundreds of thousands of views. In June, Dior2 and the Forza Horizon 5 DLC is announced, and it would include a small hint to Acceleracers within one of the missions. Even though they got some of the details wrong, it was very much a step in the right direction. In July, horrible news hits the community. Content creators, as Hit Entertainment, Mattel strikes multiple fan content videos, killing the movies on YouTube with millions on millions of views, and fan content's ability to make money from fair use, sparking the hashtag #FreeAcceleracers. In 2023, May 13th, the 20th anniversary of Hot Wheels World Race is celebrated with a wrap of the Teku Dior2 at Hot Wheels Legends Tour. JayCee is hired to help promote the wrap and post it on social media. It was a resounding success, getting millions of views. In September, the Hot Wheels Virtual Garage, the NFTs, Teku Dior2 official announcement as a diecast, and Mattel reaches out to my stream to reveal their new official project art. The art is still very good. September 9th, Vert Wheeler officially drives the Dior2 in live action for an Instagram Facebook advertisement. The driving part was cut by Mattel's advertising agency, making it official content that was not officially released. In September, the NFTs are released to horrible response. RNG, loot boxing mechanics. By the way, the only set that asks to collect all of them instead of just one, making the diecast even more rare. 750 are claimed, but there would soon be horrible distribution of this number, and the real amount is still unknown to this day. In December, better news! The official Acceleracers DLC would be announced for Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 and would include the map of the Acceladrome, making it the first time we ever got an official Hot Wheels game with Acceleracers ever. You could even fly through the Wheel of Power. It was genuinely rad. In 2024, in January, the official Hot Wheels World Race DLC for Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 would also enter the video game with cars like Slingshot and Vulture, making it into the mix. These were included because of a fan vote on Discord. In February, the Teku Diora 2, the physical, is finally redeemable, and the main people working on the project left the company. They later posted their Instagram a day late, causing people to be very confused as to when this thing actually released, and it also got a whole more likes than, some other artists. Acceleracers is mentioned in March in the new toddler kids show Hot Wheels Let's Race, along with a new Wheeler character, Dash Wheeler. Allseg did a better job on redesigning her, in my opinion. To rectify the wrongdoing of the NFT in the fandom, a less detailed Teku Diora 2 and 3 is released into the mainline, causing the community to erupt in praise over the designers who led on it, Ron Wong and Li Wei Chang. In July, many cars from Acceleracers made it into Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, and I documented them here in another video. In November of 2024, in honor of the Acceleracers fandom and the designer Mark Jones, RD06 is released with the drones decals for the first time since 2005. In 2025, there was a brief period in time in February where Mattel Legal was emailed by quote-unquote fans that I was the source of a new Hot Wheels Acceleracers leak, causing a pretty crazy turn of events where I had to prove my innocence so as to not be taken down. Luckily, many at Mattel Design and more of the fandom stuck by me, and I'm eternally grateful for that support. Later in April, and in probably the best news ever, the 20th anniversary sets are revealed by Ron Wong and crew at the Hot Wheels Nationals Convention in St. Louis. It is a United States Walmart exclusive, but around the world it would be known as the Silver Series Entertainment Sets. The Reverb would be renamed to Revert due to a copyright issue with a Royal Caribbean Cruises who trademarked the name properly in 2024. This name came from the brainstorm within the community and was relayed by me to the designers at Mattel. Teku Slingshot would be released for the first time and 3 new re-releases, Hollowback, Iridium, and RD09, which was retooled by its original designer, Dwayne Vance. 1 car for each team. The Acceleracers fandom would go to create a Reddit post that aimed to help track down the release, country by country, for those that didn't have a Walmart. And they would also create a hashtag for fans to post them finding it on Instagram so that Mattel could see customers, not Walmart, buying the sets called #BuyToSurvive2025. Yes, it's a bad pun, but it was a way of proving that they purchased the items and putting into a social media folder, so to say. In August would be the average starting date for the entertainment sets to start hitting shelves, but would continue to be stocked up until January of 2026. Notably, there would be no official posting by the United States social media account talking about the 20th anniversary of Acceleracers. Only in foreign countries did it get a post of recognition and dedicated promotion. Another reminder of just how bad the marketing team seems to not care about Acceleracers on the official Instagram. In October, Ron Wong, who had left Acceleracers Easter eggs in many of his past castings, announces another Acceleracers-inspired casting, Acceleron, meant to be driven by the Acceleron that we see in the movie. And as of right now, in early 2026, that is the official timeline of events. There might be more things I missed, but I believe this is a solid official summary. In conclusion, I really made this video in response to many big content creators recently that have been watching Acceleracers and left fans remembering and wanting for more. When I saw a streamer react and not know what happened next, or not know where the community was, and sometimes their stream be filled with much misinformation, I knew something needed to change. And with Den Miresan's help co-creating my script, this video hopefully did just that. Although Mattel never made genuine release a finale to the Acceleracers storyline, I'll be here, making videos in a great hope that one day the story can be finished while supporting the overall fan base. If you want to join in this community as well, you're totally welcome to. You can find multiple links to channels and sources as well as the official petition to try and help put as many numbers on a form as possible. Everything, again, will be down in the description below. Whether it be comics, video games, books, or TV, the world is waiting. The Hot Wheels fandom is waiting. After all, wisdom is a circle. What you receive, you must give back. I hope I was able to give back in a small way for this video. Hey, for Acceleracers t-shirts, merch, and more, be sure to check all my links down below and in the end card. Be here, be squared for more Hot Wheels culture content. I'm JayCee Squared, signing out.